Hardly. That's terrible.
Uh, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So then, of course, like we had to go run some errands today, and it's like, good, because I need to get gas in the truck so I can test this. And it worked, and I was so happy. Did everything I wanted it to do. No, I was just
and it's
making all
automated.
the little, kind of, yeah. So
yeah,
it's like
and it's
if I could,
nice.
if I could make it hold GPS so that it could fill in the gas station I'm at automatically, then it would almost do everything. Right now, I have to just select the brand of gas, Costco. So, yeah, that was fun.
Damn.
So how was your day, Matt?
Good. It was another long day of fucking dance class and gearing up for the GIE.
Mickey, we were at the playground today. She ran into some other mom who's from Japan. I forget what city. And she's like, you got to follow my friend Asami. She talks about dance. She's got dance on there. So she was on the playground, of course, sharing Instagram information. So she's like, I want them to meet. I think they'd have a lot of fun. I forget the city, but apparently it's near. I can find you her Insta and send it to you. Else.
Let's see here. Moscow. Hello from the USA. Cyanobacteria.
There were a few articles in there, but I kind of came up a little short. Are you ready to get on a plane?
More than ready. I mean, what if I told you I look forward to getting the fuck out of here?
Believe it.
What if I told
Okay,
you?
what is the temperature today? Oh, 89. Terrific.
It was fairly hot here. I think it was 82.
Yeah.
Today was as high as I saw it.
I started in jeans and switched to shorts halfway through.
Yeah, it's been cold in the mornings. That is for sure. But still warm during the day. Of course, I ran over a fucking screw. I had to plug a tire today. It was fun.
Yikes.
It was easy. I got one of those. I'd gotten it a while back, and I still have like, I don't know, 4 plugs left. But it's one of the ones that it connects to a drill, and you can just drill the fucking hole and the plug in, and made for quick work. I'll say that. It was for sure.
Nice.
I think it took longer to air back up the tire using the DC pump, 12-volt DC pump. Than
I have a good air compressor that runs off of a 20-volt battery. I have one of those because I always need air to like pressurize my little can. Yeah, because I have
one of the
like
one of the portable cans that you carry with you.
Yeah, Matt, it's a 32-ounce can, and it's filled with crossbow and diesel.
Of course it is, Ray.
Yeah, that's one way to carry it.
Yeah, because in these landscapes that I maintain, people occasionally get these garbage invasives that come up in their ornamental bed, and my only thought to that is get fucked. Just break out the can and a quick squirt, and I'm done.
I don't know what Lushy wants. Lick it? What are we licking, Lushy? Can? Diesel?
I don't think it'll taste good, Lushy. Just saying.
Pull a what's the dickhead's name with red hair that
Ginger?
Ginger. Pull a ginger.
Ew.
So
Nah.
there's this thing I saw on TikTok. Apparently, for October, you're supposed to celebrate Halloween by pounding a pumpkin pounders month, bang a ginger. So, I mean, you want to go pumpkin pounding?
Pumpkin pounding.
It's been a hot minute since I've done that, but I'm not opposed to it. I don't think I've hit a pumpkin with a baseball bat since the year 2000.
It's too long. See?
Need to freshen up. Can we do a little green
Yeah.
goblin while we're at it? We don't have the green trash cans here.
Hey, I remember this stand-up comedian named Gallagher. He was always smashing stuff.
Remember on
I feel like I remember.
Letterman?
Yeah, he
used
was-
to stick stuff up on
He
top
was
of
in the
the-
1980s and 1990s, Matt. He passed away not too long ago, too.
Don't you remember on
But his
Letterman, Ray, where they'd take stuff up on top of the Ed Sullivan Theater and fucking just throw it off, like whatever?
yeah,
They had fucking
yeah,
television
yeah.
sets and fucking.
Yeah, I remember those. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There we go. Search.
Oh, I've got a good one from right here.
What, are you trying to give me the heart attack before I
No,
hit the
no,
plane?
no. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Although I figure at this point my heart is essentially unstoppable. Yeah, because if my resting pulse is 100, yeah, you basically can't kill me at this point.
Yeah. It's on autopilot.
Yeah, it's just going to keep on ticking. Yeah, Lushy, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, he was really big in the 1980s and the 1990s. He'd do these things where he'd have like a humongous wooden mallet that was just comically oversized, and he'd blast watermelons and pumpkins and all kinds of stuff. He'd just smash it. Right, right. Yeah, 1992.
What a fucking shitbag. Ooh, this is going to be fun to talk about. Mhm.
Yep, comedian, political commentator. I mean, he was quite the character, actually.
Holy shit. Wait, where's this other one at? Fireball. I'm going to have to like brief you guys on this before we do Geno's turf. Just to get you up to speed. Where's the other one at? Okay. All right, so this video was just posted in Clown World, and it's from that garage gear guy, the guy that gives Matt anxiety because he
Yeah.
what's
up, guys? Today we're gonna be covering.
He's born with like a Marshall stack in his fucking diaphragm. Like he's just a loud talker, and while Matt can be loud, I don't think he likes being around other loud people.
Some I do, a lot I don't.
So his whole video is about compost, which I haven't even gotten into all that. He's talking about like the Landsea compost spreader or whatever. So there's a whole opportunity for him to nerd out on compost, and we can shit all over that. But then there's also him talking about Lawn Life. He has Lawn Life do a cameo. You know that dickbag that tried to shake Kevin down for money on the whole feature thing?
Yeah.
Feature,
the
feature,
feature
business. Yep.
He is selling a line of grass seed now that is called Blackout, which isn't racist, even though it could be interpreted like that in 2024. However, it is all about like the darkest color varieties. So what's interesting is if you go into NTEP, and the University of Minnesota has that really cool tool where you can sit there and break down and look at different characteristics against each other. Like their color is first tier and it's really, really good on both of these. However, the overall quality rating puts it in the second tier based on statistical analysis. And their the most interesting part is their scores for gray leaf spot make it look like Freddie Mercury's asshole after he took the stage at Wembley.
Yo.
Whoa.
Yo.
like 1.7, 2.5.
Ooh.
So it's dark.
Bad. Yeah, it's dark,
can be
but then
even-
it's disease prone. Yeah, well, talk about a Faustian bargain right there. You can have super dark grass, but then it's going to be more infected than the whole house in Chinatown.
Where are we at here? Jesus Christ.
Let me piss real quick.
I'm going to do the same.
Fuck yeah.
You ain't kidding on the fucking markup of this shit. Jesus.
I got no returns.
No returns? Hang on a second.
I'm scouring for good news. I can't find any good news.
We gotta return.
We got a
Do we?
return.
It's
We do.
it's Expo Equip Expo this week.
Oh, and then
yeah.
we got Randy. Randy.
Yes. We'll do Randy.
Yeah.
What did Randy win?
I don't think he won anything. I think he just completed. There was a course. There was a.
Oh, he completed the course. Gotcha. Okay, I wasn't sure when I saw the picture. How about his homemade turf epistemology shirt? I thought that was hilarious.
Hey, Lushy, Inside Baseball. Shaddix is coming to the New England Regional Turf Foundation's conference in Providence in March. So buckle up. He's got multiple sessions there he's doing.
Yeah, that'll be a live one for sure.
Well, what's interesting is I don't know all the details, but one of his things will be about the BS of like base cans or BCSR and some of this other shit
Mm-hmm.
in that area
Mhm.
is absolutely fucking locked down by Earthworks, by the Joel Simmons people.
Man.
So like they're gonna be sitting
Mhm.
front row,
Mhm.
like probably just being like the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
What?
I was. People actually pointing that. Couldn't quite.
Kind of went underwater there for a second.
Yeah.
It's one of those videos that caught someone in passing that they were burning alive. No big deal.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't click away fast enough.
Send me that,
So,
please.
yeah, it's coming at you. Yeah, I'll go back.
Not that we can only stomach them, but for those of you that don't know, Matt and I have a fondness for videos of new interesting ways to die.
This one is do not house oneself next to a munitions depot. How about that?
that's a good rule, I think.
I thought it was going to be that.
Oh, pickle boy. Oh, pickle boy. Man, the stark reality of just how bad the internet could be is that video.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, yeah, that was a early, shocker to say the least, but isn't it amazing that we go from seeing that and don't get me wrong, I'd never take away that. It's still one of the craziest fucking things of all time, but you go from that to not but a short time later, all of a sudden, catching people with fucking, ISIS locking them in a cage and setting them on fire. Or using swords to behead people.
It's absurd.
It is absurd. All right. I am good to start the show because I was off into the weird world of the internet there. Boy, there's a big fire.
Well,
Yep.
well. Speaking of fires, let's
Let's get
Let's
this
get into
fucking
burn and
fire on the
return.
road. I feel like
What was that
everybody was
song?
in that video like, oh shit. Yeah. Oh, there they are. Yeah, they are burning alive.
Crap.
all right. Well, burn and return.
As business owners, entrepreneurs, family men, it's difficult for us to find the time to put together projects like these. Even though it's something we really want to do, unfortunately, taking care of the things we have to take care of comes first. However, because of viewer support for people like you, we're able to continue doing this. Please consider joining our Patreon and supporting the Burn and Return podcast.
Podcast.
You're listening to Burn and Return, a weekly 1-hour podcast covering news from the agricultural and turfgrass industries.
Gentlemen's showing respect to our great Canadian brethren, AVE, a man's man, a men among men, and someone I desire to be like when I grow up. If I choose to grow up, which is still debatable at this point. Nearly 40, but you know what? I just don't want to do what I don't want to do. So we'll see how that shakes on the other side. But, gentlemen's, how are you doing? Did anybody go to jail this weekend? Did we have any
No.
notices show up in the mailbox that children you had fathered are wanting back into your life in one financial way or another? Or did you almost lose in overtime?
Nope. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Loss in regulations,
No,
as a matter of
no.
fact.
Yeah, but you didn't go to overtime with Florida either, So you had a legit.
Was that a massive sign of disrespect to you in your athletic prowess as a volunteer?
No, look, because the volunteers. I was talking to Brandon Murray about this. Shout out to Brandon Murray and the Centipede Boys, by the way, who accepted another gig. I don't know if I should talk about that on air or not. But anyway, what's up, Brian?
You just did.
Brandon. Jesus, what is going on with me? I am so effed over our meetup coming up. My brain is just absolutely scrambled. Talking to Brandon, and he was like, "Buddy, are you about to have a heart attack? I'm worried about you. Just checking on you." And I was like, "Look, there's one thing that I've learned about my Vols is that we can make any player for Florida. We can make any level of backup quarterback an absolute elite potential Heisman winner. It's just the nature of being a volunteer fan. You are going to make a mediocre player at best at Florida play absolutely lights out. The next Tom Brady will be birthed out of a UT game as a player for Florida. I don't know why. It just always happens. So the fact that we were able to collect the dub is enough. I'm not going to bitch about it, but I will say that I was not expected. I was not surprised that I went to overtime at all. In fact, by the end of the first half, I was fully prepared to take the L just right off the top. So the fact we made it to overtime and took a dub was good enough. I'm happy.
Did not go to jail, but who's still in jail? And that's Diddy. Because Diddy made an entire house look like the floor bay at Jiffy Lube. That's what he did.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
I mean,
Jesus Christ!
You think they'll put the? Well, do you think? Like I said, in the last episode, he had the air compressed, baby oil over the house. There you go, Charlene.
Milwaukee grease gun.
There you go, Charlene.
Baby oil.
5 ports, ready to go.
Mhm.
Awful human being. May he rot in peace.
Yep.
Yes. Burn in hell.
May he burn. May he burn.
Because
I've been good this week. Yeah, I've been good this week.
Ray, you are on no additional FBI wanted lists or NSA tracking devices beyond what we have already known to come and expect from you.
Yeah, I've been good.
This is good.
Promise.
This is good.
Scout's honor. I've been totally good. I mean,
then we do. We have a series of dubs here and something to celebrate. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
JPEG, I want to kick this off a little differently. I want to start with our returns, and there's a reason why.
Ooh.
And so if we could kick off with the return sounder there, if that's possible. I am back, and as a matter of fact, I'll tell you exactly who's back, and it is one of our own Bulgarian Randy, who made us number one in Eastern Europe for a podcast, single-handedly has completed a course in Bulgaria. Does anybody have any additional inside information on this?
I think it's through BIGA, which is the British and International Greenkeepers Association,
Bruh.
and that's
Whoa.
yeah. I'm pretty sure. I don't I don't want to go out too far on a limb here, but I
If that's
believe that's a
true, if that's true, Ryan, oh my goodness. Because here's another little bit of inside baseball. That name Randy rings a bell with me because he's a regular at the Insomniac help desk.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
due
sure
to the time
he's at least 7 hours difference there. I think he's 7 hours
I
ahead.
see.
yeah,
plus
yeah.
plus six
So
for Ray, so he's he's great.
Literally on the
well,
other side of the earth.
Yeah.
yeah, because there's been many an evening where I've just been trying to answer all of his questions, to
Yeah,
the best
and
of my ability.
it's fantastic to see this. One, the picture that's up here, to see the smile on his face is I mean, that's genuine joy. You can't can't state that any other way. That's genuine joy. And there are few people who I have seen that express the kind of interest that he does in this, and the other people that I have seen express that kind of interest, interestingly, are all patron members in our Discord as well too. If you want to check it out, patreon.com/Burnham Return. You can come hang out with us over there and meet people like Randy, who's out there doing the damn thing, from everything from the trials he conducts on his own property, the different research experiments that he has going on. I mean, it's fascinating the level of detail that he goes into. But again, we have another tech guy turned turfy, and boy, I to see this I'm not exactly surprised, because he didn't just express an interest in it. He was 100% invested in it, right? And
Yep.
the level of investment he had is it's again.
Oop,
Was
I
that
think we
Matt
lost.
that went by?
Yeah. Matt
Uh-oh.
froze.
I'll continue. Oh, wait, he's back.
There he's back.
I meant to switch windows and I clicked the X because I'm a dunce. There's no other way around. So congrats to you, Randy.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
yeah, that is that's absolutely
It's a
wild.
great way to kick off our meetup week in Louisville. That's great news. And it goes to that point that, he said he was inspired by us, whatever. Like, listen, we are not inspiring people. We literally just get up
No.
here and talk. And the only thing that's unique about it is that Jay Pink records it, and someday this will be all used against us when we do run for political office. But
Oh
until
my
that time,
gosh.
until that time, and listen, that's already that has already been taken care of, because we've all retained Driver to be our campaign managers. And listen, if anybody can spin the absolute shit out of something and make it seem like it's not bad, it's our friend Mac Driver. But no, seriously,
Mhm.
Randy is the epitome of the people that really enjoy the show, the people that are our people, and that is somebody who, does what they do in their daily life, but they find grass and they do something. Randy, thank you, congratulations, keep pounding, and come visit us in Louisville next year, please.
Yeah, man, boy, wouldn't that be something if Randy showed up? It would be, I don't know. I'd probably lose control. I'm not gonna lie. But I'll probably lose control regardless. So I don't know. It's strange. Anyway, I guess now we'll move into this week's headlines.
Nothing to fear here.
This is just the news. So Hurricane Milton came through, and there was a lot of flooding. Major storm surge came with this, and guess who? Inadvertently had some issues with some waste byproduct releasing back into the Tampa Bay. That was Mosaic. Mosaic has a byproduct, an industrial byproduct called phosphogypsum, which also is known to emit radon because it is a radioactive gas. The storage system for water around a pile of phosphogypsum became overwhelmed in Riverview. The site received nearly 15 inches. I'm sorry, this is not in Tampa Bay. It's here. Received nearly 15 inches of rain during Hurricane Milton less than 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene, the company said in a statement. Water quality impacts in Tampa Bay are expected to be modest, if any. The company addressed the overflow issue on Thursday and said it was continuing on Friday. It said in the statement, we've been in constant communication with regulators who are on site today. The affected phosphogypsum pile is closed, meaning the company is not adding new material to it. It contains radium, which decays to form radon gas, the US EPA said, noting that radium and radon are radioactive. It could cause cancer. The EPA requires that phosphogypsum be managed in engineered piles or stacks to limit public exposure for radon emissions. The EPA told Reuters the Florida Department Florida Department of Environmental Protection regulates the design, construction, operation, and maintenance of phosphogypsum stack systems, and they must continue to comply with all regulatory requirements. Mosaic, which mines phosphate rock in Florida and produces about 3/4 of North America's phosphate fertilizer, said it idled the Florida operations in anticipation of Milton. So a couple things here is any leak of phosphogypsum a good thing? No, 100%. Mosaic says the water quality impacts are modest at best. I don't know. We'll wait until the data comes out on that, and now I will say testing for radon is not a very complex thing. So we should be able to see some results from that relatively quickly. And we're talking about 17,500 gallons, which in total volume, that sounds like a lot. However, if the amount of radium or radon that is actually dissolved into that 17,500 gallons is that, we'll say like, I don't know, 10 parts per million. And then that 17,500 gallons dilutes into, I don't know, like 1.4 billion gallons or something, or 144 billion, or, some exponentially greater number than that. Then, if you move the needle, 0.0000000000001 billionth of a part per billion, then, yes, it's not good. However, the impacts that we're going to face as people's not is something to be alarmed
And
about.
one
Right?
more little note, Matt. One more
Yes.
little note about radon. Radon is not a high gamma emitter. So
Yes.
you are not in danger from, for example, from having some radon in water even. Because
It's not like having uranium 252 in it, right?
Oh, well, I can think of something, nasty like, say, cesium or cobalt. Then we've got issues. But then the difference is that radon is mostly alpha and beta particle emitting, and alpha and beta particles are stopped by plastic, your skin. And the only time radon gas is harmful is if you have inhaled it, because then that has bypassed your skin and that has gone directly into your lungs. That's the only time that would be a problem. So this is why I'm not panicking and saying, oh my God, we're all going to die.
Now,
all right.
on the flip side of that, what is one thing that should at least keep your eyes pivoting in multiple different directions relatively rapidly is, if you caught the last statement there, Mosaic had idled Florida operations in anticipation of Milton. Now we have a stack that can no longer take waste. You know what that means? Production for for phosphorus has been idled. And remember the prices already that exist on phosphorus. It's already under a lot of pressure. Mosaic basically has a monopoly on U.S. phosphates. So you can see what ends up happening here. This is additional pressure on an already spicy market that is seeing high prices. So now if you trade phosphorus commodities and you were holding it and expecting it to come down, well, I think I was the one who was talking about, you could probably expect some softening over some time here. Yeah, I was wrong. How about that? Just flat out wrong. And this is why. This is exactly what ends up happening right here. I'll be curious to see if we see a force majeure come out. I think that's to be seen. If we do see a force majeure, that means there's going to be some significant shortages, and then boy, everybody's going to get a little panicky there, looking for alternative phosphorus sources. But as of right now, I haven't seen anything of the sort. But it's also young. It is young, and spring is not here. Plant season is not here. But when it comes time to get your phosphorus in the ground, hold your panties, boys. You never know what may happen. Philly jury awarded $70 million to a man who alleged his cancer was linked to Roundup. DeMay, I think you sent this one earlier today, and boy, it is still going. It is still going. So here we have $78 million in a product liability lawsuit that alleges the ingredient in Roundup weed killer caused him to develop blood cancer. This is made by a jury in Philadelphia, resolving one of numerous lawsuits. As of so far, I believe $10.9 billion have been paid out, and there's still 1,000+ lawsuits remaining. Here, William Millison filed a lawsuit in 2021 after he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma a year later. He said he'd been using Roundup at home and at work since 1992. The weed killer contained the herbicide glyphosate, which is widely used in large-scale agriculture and hundreds of products sold around the world. I do want to look up the court documents on this and find out exactly how much he was using. Again, this is one of those things. I find it extremely hard to believe that you're going to have negative repercussions at the exposure rates at home use with glyphosate. There's a lot of people that listen to us that use shit tons more glyphosate than these people.
Okay,
And
I just
not
noticed
even
something.
like on orders of magnitude shit tons more.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, I just caught something that kind of caught my attention. This guy is almost the same age as I am, right?
He is.
Okay. Let's just say that if the Cancer Association were true, then I should have been gone a long time ago because because I've been dealing with Roundup, like the original 41% isopropylamine salt of glyphosate as, the original Roundup since the 1980s. And I'm not talking about little bit. I'm talking about stacks of the 5-gallon cans.
I think if there was a meta-analysis to be done, it should be of people like Ray, and if Matt and I are so fortunate to make it, past like 60, and die of something.
We'll call it
not
51. If we make it to 51, then we enter the meta-analysis.
Because the reason why I say this is because, as you know, it's probably not going to be glyphosate-induced cancer that gets rid of me. It'll be something else. I mean, really, I'm optimistic. It'll be optimistic. I'm optimistic that way, is that it ain't going to be the fact that I've been handling Roundup since the 1980s, okay? It's not going to be that. And that's why I notice the kind of cancer that this man has.
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma has an extremely strong genetic component to it because I've known people that have gotten non-Hodgkin's and Hodgkin's lymphoma, and they were nowhere near any kind of herbicide or chemical. In fact, one of the people I know that got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, as far as I know, he was a non-smoker, non-drinker, and he only ate chicken and vegetables. There.
Yeah,
And he still
someone
got
really
the
close to me,
Mhm.
their wife had it and beat
Yeah.
it, thankfully. And yeah,
Mhm.
again, similar situation. Office worker, in
Right?
great shape, runner. Yeah.
Healthy, super healthy, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But,
because you
but
see,
by God, no weeds in the fence lines though.
Nope.
no, no, but you see that is where
Jesus
I'm just start I'm I'm just starting to wonder how much of this can be associated with confidence to glyphosate because man, if that were true,
Oh, no, Ray,
then oh
this
my
has
good
been reviewed professionally many different
yeah.
times. There is no confidence that it can be associated to glyphosate. That's why this is all in civil court, is because it's emotionally tied to glyphosate, not
Mhm.
scientifically tied to glyphosate.
Not factually at all.
Uh,
It's not a factual case at that point because, as I said, if anybody out of all of us should have something like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, it ought to be me because I'm thinking back to yeah, all the as I said, all the Roundup. I mean, let's see what else have I been fooling around with that's kind of on that list. 2,4-D. There, I said
Yeah.
it, but
Again, how many
mhm.
guys do y'all know that go through totes of this?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totes or back in the day, this stuff came in like metal drums. Okay, honestly, I saw it delivered in metal drums. I mean, so I'm still trying to put together how a person exposed to a small incidental quantity of this gets such a terrible thing to happen to them.
Oh
Into
I'm
that
trying
my
end.
to.
god.
Well, into
DeMay.
that end first. Let's go ahead and put up this link real quick. This is from Dr. Shaddix.
Oh my god.
And for those of you that are audio only, this is on his community page and his Facebook page. And he says, found this at an elementary school science fair. I particularly like what is written under the warning exclamation point and facts. Indoctrination starts early. So if you slide down here in the photo to the warning, which is in the lower left of this photo, it says glyphosate is scientifically proven to cause cancer. And then there's like a little, magic marker skull and crossbones here.
Mm-hmm.
And so the facts say the chemicals people put on their yards to kill dandelion do more than kill dandelions. They can hurt you or your dogs, a cat, because they have glyphosate. So don't use chemicals.
What?
Is this the
What?
editorial fair or the science fair? Okay.
No,
Here's
this
the,
is no, this is the brainwashing fair right here. This is the washing fair because, and this is where, do you know how I raise holy hell about academics? It is
Mhm.
because academics don't see incorrect statements that have no grounding in science and they don't push back against such statements that are factually incorrect
hey, I'll give Travis credit.
because
He's pushing back on a 9-year-old here. Like, go get him.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah because
Boy, do I have opinions on schools. Again, I have really strong opinions, especially on public education, and now's not going to be the time for me to go on a diatribe here. But um, I think again, why no one clearly this 9-year-old did not come to this conclusion on their own, right? A 9-year-old is not processing what the word chemical means as a negative context unless it was taught to them as a negative context. This is one of the things that I tried to do because I work with chemicals. Even in my day job now, even though I'm not an applicator, I do a lot of chemistry day in and day out, and I work with a lot of chemicals day in and day out. And it's everything from glutaraldehyde to formaldehyde is on the docket of things that are in and out of my building, right? And so um, this idea of chemicals of just by virtue, by name alone, as having a negative connotation is a big fucking problem. And I'm just going to leave it at that, that it is a big fucking problem. And I hope that everyone that listens to us, when I say that, and if you are afraid of the word chemical, come talk to us, and we will not be mean, we will not be condescending, we will have a legitimate conversation with you. I don't know how to start the conversation, and so if you come to me with questions, I will do my absolute best to answer them for
Time's
you.
up.
And in
It's
fact,
over.
I would love to do an entire show dedicated to the fear of chemicals and addressing fear of chemicals and wherever that fear came from, like trying to actually unpack where that fear came from, because it is dangerous. It's dangerous, especially at an individual level. And I'll take it one step further. I have genuine fears for you and your family if you carry this fear of chemicals. Respect for 100%. Everyone should respect chemicals, chemistry, anything that falls into that category. Fear is baseless, and there are it needs to be talked about and openly talked about. And fear, and I'll never forget, this is like forecasting the future, forewarning the future. I'll never forget when I started working at TruGreen and they were teaching us how to talk to customers. One of the things that they always coach us on is that you never use the word chemical, right? It's always a product, it's always a material, it's never a chemical, because chemical carries a negative connotation and it scares people. There's a big unknown there as far as what it is. But we have to remember that anything we eat, you could take the most organic substance on earth, you name it, whatever it is, soy meal. We could take soybean flour. It is loaded with chemicals, everything from amino acids to organic acids. You name it, anything above and beyond. It's got free fatty acids. It's got linoleic acid. It has seed oils in it. You name it. Anything that could scare you about the chemical world, it is in it. And you go right down the list of anything organic, and it is full of these things. You can take avocado oil. You could polymerize avocado oil if you want to. Now you have a polymer. Now you have a plastic on your hand. Now you're eating
Right,
plastics.
man.
Are you okay with that? Do you want to eat plastics? So
Matt,
there's all of this needs to be understood at least at a rudimentary level. But what we have done, we have shifted education from a rudimentary understanding to just blocking things into categories of like good or bad, necessary, unnecessary, and leave the rest of it for the taking. And it's bizarre because in the age of information that we live in now, we are moving further and further away from the zest and desire and zeal to learn more about the world around us. And that is fucking freaking me out. And this is a case in point right here. It freaks me the fuck out bad.
yeah, Matt, I gotta remember a convo that I had with Jay Pink a couple years ago, and this one made Jay Pink kind of take a pause because I think Jay Pink mentioned the word organic, and I flipped out. I told him, "Okay, Jay Pink, you want to know what's organic? Ricin is organic. Strychnine is organic.
Cyanide,
Ni- cyanide is organic. Nicotine is organic. So,
arsenic.
oh, arsenic is very organic. Let me tell you, because it's an element. So is thallium. And my point being is that we cannot just point the finger at something that was synthesized and say, oh, because it was synthesized, it is bad. Because in fact, oftentimes, the synthesized stuff was synthesized for the strict purpose of making it less hazardous, less of a danger. I mean, I keep on going back to that because
Because of the impurities.
people, no, not only the impurities, but just the innate nature of that chemical. Because glyphosate, we do not synthesize EAAs or essential amino acids endogenously. We consume them and absorb them through food. Therefore, we are not affected by chemicals that affect the shikimic acid pathway. We are not affected by that. But if we want to talk about, let's not do glyphosate anymore. Well, let's see. I remember when, you know what was used for herbicide back in the day, Matt? And this is horrifying. Sodium arsenite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's organic.
It is. It is. Copper sulfate's organic. Go drink a quarter of it. I mean, the Looney Tune world that we live in right now is rapidly expanding, and I do not know. I do know why. I have my own theories as to why. I don't know for certain. I have theories. I think social media is a lot of it, and the amount of brain rot that has occurred as a result of social media and is taking, we have further isolated people into further and further corners outside of reality and stuck them there. And now they have found a home and a community that is not rooted in the world around them. And they get to circulate and stimulate each other with the most bizarre and asinine things that could possibly pop into their mind, and receive credit and recognition for them. And I think this plays into a lot to psychology and attachment styles and basic human needs. I think if you ever, again, I'm going to simp for Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins did a presentation about the 6 basic human needs. If you listen to it and you hear all these things, and then you think about the role social media plays in people's lives and its ability to capture 4 of the 6 basic human needs, you can see where it starts to facilitate a lot of the insanity that we see today. And again, exactly what we're talking about with chemicals here. I know it's. I highly recommend is rudimentary chemistry, acid-base reactions, like the volcano experiment with your children. Do that and explain why this chemical reaction has happened. Sodium bicarbonate and vinegar, acetic acid, sodium bicarbonate. It is an acid-base reaction that occurs, and it's a relatively violent reaction. It's an exothermic reaction, and it's a lot of fun, and it creates foam. And here you could talk about the individual chemicals that make up these 2 seemingly organic products, right? You have sodium bicarbonate and you have acetic acid. You could talk about the concentration of acetic acid and how concentration can affect whether or not it's dangerous. These are simple, basic things that this 9-year-old should be doing in their experiment. However, they started at it with the understanding that no, chemicals are bad. So what we're going to talk about is just staying away from those and eat dandelions, and the world is going to be better. Hugs, not drugs, kind of things. I don't know.
It's
Maybe
absurd.
I did too many drugs, and I'm beyond fucking saving at this point. I don't know. Anyway, let's jump to our favorite segment of Dono's Turf.
Oh,
when it starts off with you know you're stepping into some shit. DeMay just signaled that one out loud.
Yup, you sure did.
Damn it.
well, it's seldom that you're able to package together both diarrhea and solid shit into the same bowel movement. But I think, gentlemen, that we have made I don't want to say history because we didn't make shit. We're just literally just watching and consuming what comes in. So today there's a gentleman that goes by the YouTube handle of Garage Gear that's going to explain to us some things about the Landsea spreader for compost, which I don't really care to watch that. We'll let him do his intro. Check that out. But then there are some things about overseeding and about compost that I want to go over as he goes through this. So JP, why don't you give us about the first to your 60 seconds or so, and then we will jump into. I'll get you a minute and second to fast forward to there.
Yeah. Hold on. You never sent me the link. I got
Oh,
it.
wait,
Though.
no, it's in Notion.
Oh. Well, why would I look there?
Why would I look there?
Where did you want me to jump to on this?
Just do the first 60 seconds. What did OJ say when Johnny Cochran held up that knit cap? Hey, there's my lucky stabbing hat.
Jesus Christ. I was about to
King
say
with
it.
this spreader, and that's where it gets a huge win. Reloading. Oh my gosh, it never ended. Hey guys and gals, welcome to Garage Gear. I'm JB, and just so we're clear here, this video is not sponsored. This Lanzy 24-inch compost and peat moss spreader belongs to a friend of mine, and he was kind enough to let me review it. This model's a few years old now, but not too much has changed on it since it came out. Let's dive into this hollow barrel and see what it's made of. This Lanzy spreader is 24 inches wide by a 16-inch deep diameter barrel. Is it just me, or does this thing look like a giant bingo ball tumbler? It has a powder-coated steel framework, and the mesh basket is made of 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch diamond-shaped holes, allowing finely screened material to easily pass through.
What do we call
There's
that
a
material,
swinging
boys?
hinge door, which
What kind of metal is that?
Chinese metal?
I believe we call that
Chinesium.
expanded metal. If I
Expanded
recall
metal.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an
Or
expanded
1/2
metal.
inch by 3/4 inch diamond shapes. Either or.
Yeah.
All right,
actually
so let's go
opens
to
up pretty
6:20.
wide, allowing for
Go to 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Let's go there.
By the way, before we start, I just want to say that if you want to spread compost and use a compost spreader, this is where particle size distribution becomes important. Just make sure it does flow through expanded metal. If it is in a tumbled fashion, sometimes you're going to have some material in there that's way too big to pass through that. So as a general rule of thumb, if you're buying compost that is too big to flow through expanded metal, it's probably not good compost to use. I'm just going to throw that out there. So anyway, just as a byline, as a compost spreader, you want to use this, by all means, go for it. You know, it's a good sign that at least one part of your compost is good.
Lanzy spreader, definitely. I'll have this Lanzy spreader linked down below in the description. Big shout out to my friend Matt for letting me review this Lanzy spreader.
Very
Thank you
welcome,
much.
sir.
Now here's what I did.
Very
leading-
welcome.
See? I mean, this is the kind of
Was
thing.
he talking about me?
Yeah, I
think he
mean,
was talking about
this show has gotten so big. We've got so much marketing collateral to push out there that we are now setting people up to make Jonah's turf content unknowingly.
I see what you did there. That was good.
Yeah.
up to using the Lanzy spreader. Timing is everything, and here in my local area, it was a relatively dry fall. As soon as the rain began to return, I immediately mowed the lawn as low as I could comfortably go with it, knowing I wasn't going to be mowing for about the next 2 weeks. And once the lawn was completely mowed, it was time for grass seed. And this wasn't just any type of seed I threw down. This was the best of the best for a cool season lawn. I threw down Blackout Elite perennial ryegrass seed sent to me by my good friend Jesse over at Lawn Life right here on YouTube. Thank you very much, Jesse. Jesse has been a big fan of Garage Gear since the beginning, and he is the man when it comes to being on top of every current trend in the lawn care world. Everything from lawn care basics to nitrogen blitzing, even pre-germinating grass seed, this guy's got it down. He's done some pretty powerful stuff over on his channel, so check it out. And the grass seed in this bag is made up of Fireball and Hat Trick perennial ryegrass, which were rated as some of the darkest grass cultivars by the National Turfgrass Evaluation Program. They rate these cultivars based on overall quality, density, leaf texture, and color. And Fireball and Hat Trick came out on top. So now let's analyze this seed here a little further. Now this is about as pure seed as you can get. It says pure seed, and it's made up of 49.29%.
I know so, because it says so. It's pure seed.
And Fireball perennial ryegrass, then 49.29% Hat Trick perennial ryegrass. There is no other crop seed in this bag, and it has 1.42% inert matter. Now, inert matter in a bag of grass seed is basically like little bits of seeds and maybe some broken stems, maybe. So we have a very tiny percentage here. And below that, what do we have? 0% weed seeds. So this bag is without question pure seed, nothing else. I'll have Jesse's info and his...
If you see inert matter, it is not pure seed, nothing else. You contradicted yourself. But in terms of the amount of inert matter in there, is that a problem? No, I would say that's fairly par for the course. But if we're gonna call this pure seed, at least use the appropriate definition of pure, and that is not fucking pure seed, as a matter of fact.
Is not. So let's go ahead and look here,
Oh
and try to
yes,
dive in just a little bit more about this seed because when
okay,
anybody makes claims about, hey, this seed's the darkest, it's this, it's that,
it's the
uh,
best.
the best, the top of the top, this, that, and the other thing, right? Any seed that we use has drawbacks, like inherently. That's why, right, we use mixtures and blends. And for those of you scoring at home, remember a mixture is two or more of the same genus and species in the bag, but maybe different cultivars, right? A mixture is
Sure.
two or more different species in the bag. Okay. And what we're doing with that is maybe hedging for different things, whether it be, seasonality of when a grass is performing at its best, but even within individual cultivars, it could be things like, one does better with disease resistance and the other one that doesn't do
Mhm.
quite so good with disease resistance does better with color. Now, when you try to do something where you make up your own, you can come up with some pretty good blends and mixtures. I'm not saying that anybody can't, right? But what happens is if you focus in too much on one, you might get yourself in trouble. So, he Garage Gear mentioned the National Turfgrass Evaluation Program. That's a federally funded, program through the USDA in which, grass seed growers will put their best or whatever they wanna test into a trial that is conducted over several years, usually 3 or more, to get a good idea of how their grasses are performing relative to, 1, industry standards, and 2, maybe some experimental varieties that haven't come out, and 3, just sort of, in general in different areas of the country. Okay, we've talked a lot about it before. To take that to a new level, this used to be just on like literally just tabled text files, like CSV files. The University of Minnesota here in the last 2 years came out with this thing called the Turfgrass Trial Explorer. I highly recommend that if you're ever looking for different cultivars and things like that, that you just go look this up because you can get the data aggregated in a much, much better format. Okay. So let's look at hat trick perennial ryegrass. There's that and fireball were the two that were in this particular blend. This is the 2016 ryegrass trial. So this was entered into 2016. They grew through 2017 through 2021, those 4 years, right? Those 4 seasons. And they rate these grasses on a variety of different things: overall quality, quality in the spring, quality of summer, fall, winter, so on and so forth. We'll look at diseases here in a little bit. Okay. Mowing quality. It's also another thing for perennial ryegrass. It's a, a special topic for ryegrass in particular. All right, now, so things I want you to look at here, Ray, is look at this table average here. So we're looking at what the average is across all these sites, and all they're rating for is
Mhm.
color. Now, for those of you scoring at home, 1 is the lowest number that we can get. Those are the ones that look like dog shit. 9 is the best, and 9 is the absolute top of the scale. These are all rated visually. Okay. So, what we see here is that Fireball and Hat Trick absolutely, unequivocally in the top grouping here. One other thing here to note from a stats perspective, I sucked in math, but I was pretty good at stats. This LSD right here, least significant difference, is 2/10, right? Point 0.2. So if I subtract this LSD value off of this, basically anything that falls within that group is the top performer. So this is not like the college football playoff rankings that are about to come out. This isn't number 1, number 2, number 3. It's not how this works. Statistically, there's no difference between these three. But once you get down to 7.2, when I subtract more than zero point 0.2, this least significant difference from this top number right here, now I have a difference that just statistically is different, right? So we're seeing differences in color. But Hat-Trick and Fireball, guys, if you're looking at the color ratings, I mean, you might get the baby boil out. It's getting pretty hot and heavy in here. But
Slippery.
is that the whole story? Yeah, I brought that coupon here to Jiffy Lube today. Did he? You gonna cash that in for me, dog? I'm gonna need a set of wipers when this is all done too. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and don't reach in there and replace my air filter. Good lord, that could be expensive and painful. But let's look at overall quality ratings here. Okay. So overall quality is looking at kind of an amalgamation of all these different characteristics. Okay. So when we look at this, all right, so let's check our least significant difference here on our stats. 6.1. So that basically means anything that's down to 5.9 is going to be in top. So I got to go pretty darn far down the list here to find 5.9. All right. There's a lot of pretty good ryegrasses out there from a quality standpoint across all these metrics, diseases, summer stress, all those things, right? But what I don't see in that top grouping is hat trick or fireball. And I've got to keep going down here. So here's hat trick. Hat trick checks in at 5.4. Again, the top of our scale, way up here at
Time's up, it's
6.1.
over.
Wow.
So there's a pretty big difference there. Okay. It's a statistically different category. And then let's go look for Fireball. Fireball's down here at 5.2. So not the best, but not the worst either. And, statistically, they fall, in this second grouping. And there's, not too much notable about them. If we go back and look, we can kind of look at individual sites where they perform better. If I remember correctly, I won't slide all the way over here and find out. Well, let's just look at hat trick real quick. Did great out in Logan, Utah. And I think the same thing for Fireball. It did pretty good in some of the drought studies and things like that in a couple different areas. All right. So that being said, let's go check
Where
one
did
more
it
thing
fail?
because, well, if I were to ask you, gentlemen, what is the biggest pest that we have on perennial ryegrass?
Gray leaf spot.
Gray leaf spot.
Gray leaf spot
Mhm.
is a stone cold killer on ryegrass, and there's really not a whole lot you can do for it. One of the most important things, though, that you can do, remember that disease triangle, guys, right? You need a
Mhm.
virulent pathogen, you need the right environment, and you need a susceptible host, right?
Yeah.
So the breeders on perennial ryegrass know this. They know this, and they've taken great pains to try and select for and breed more more varieties that are resistant to gray leaf spot. Done a pretty good job here. Now, if I go back and look at diseases, gray leaf spot, and I start sliding down here through the list, they've got some pretty strong entries here that are in the 8s and 9s as far as resisting. However, again, I've got 1.5 is my least significant difference. So I can go all the way down to 7.5 and still be in that first grouping. Well, unfortunately, I don't see Fireball or Hat Trick in those first groupings, and I'm still scrolling. And I get all the way down here
Oh,
to the bottom, 2.7 on Hat Trick, and where
Dude.
is my Fireball? Fireball,
Dude.
1.7.
Dude.
So
wow.
kind of in the basement there when it comes to
Dude.
this.
Wow.
Neither of
One
them
site.
are
This is
even remotely tolerant.
one site,
No.
and this is other nice thing too, Ray. I thought that you might like is they give you all the plot data here in terms of
Mhm.
what kind of growing conditions that we're in, nitrogen, all that kind of stuff, and just really show you a little bit more about the study so you have some more context. But, gentlemen,
Dude.
this is where you can get yourself into
Who
trouble because if you
who
go
put
back
together
and
that
look,
seed blend?
well, I got to go. The only place I can find it is on Lawn Life, and this is the
Yeah.
blackout grass seed. And trust me, gentlemen, I can say this unequivocally is that once the gray leaf spot hits, it'll be black in very short order.
I was just gonna say, Ryan, because
And that
You
ain't
know-
grass.
Named correctly.
That's dirt. That's dirt.
yeah, because the most feared disease I can think of, one of the most feared diseases I can think of in a cool season grass, is gray leaf spot.
Oh, I thought you were
In
going to say
a-
Bill Cosby with a bottle of schnapps, but okay.
No, I thought you were going to say Bill Cosby with the bottle of South African Quaaludes.
Oof.
It all ends
Yes!
that or gray leaf spot on the Fireball and the Hat Trick. All these things end up filtering down to blackout on the flow chart.
Yeah, because okay, true or false, guys? You know when you have gray leaf spot hitting a residential lawn, you don't have very many particularly effective options for dealing with that, do you?
No.
Not really.
Gray
Once
leaf
it's there,
spot.
once it's there, it's that's a bohica.
Because-
That's a bend over here it comes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that if this happened prior to year 2000, I know what my out would be on gray leaf spot. I'd be doing a Greg and painting that sumbitch white with Decanil 2787.
I will say I would rather have gray leaf spot in St. Augustine than in cool season grass any day of the week. And it's
For
not
sure.
even close. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, gray leaf spot does not dirt St. Augustine. So
No, because Matt, because I've caught some instances of gray leaf spot in St. Augustine, and my usual go-to is cut the water, no more nitrogen, and app of lexicon, and then we're no longer in trouble.
yeah,
Okay, I mean, there's ways to deal with it.
I've had granular headway do plenty sufficient on gray leaf spot
Yeah.
in St. Augustine with, and 2 weeks later, you're like, damn, I'm a sumbitching hero. Look at this. If you're going to buy a seed, let me tell you, I'll give you a couple of different recommendations right here. My first recommendation, I've got three. My first recommendation is do not buy Blackout. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. Number two and number three, Elevated Lawnscapes has a great tall fescue blend that I saw. It's a Mountain View seed blend. It's got some of the higher performing LS varieties in it. I think Valkyrie's in it, maybe Firecracker and Spider. It's another one in there. Something like those three, but they were all great Mountain View seeds. And then Nor consistently always has great seed too. You can see the videos that he has with his fucking perennial ryegrass. It just looks like it. I'm fairly certain it is actually a satellite that communicates via Starlink with the rest of the solar system, just based on aesthetics alone. I mean, when I turn it on and I look at it, I'm just like, holy shit. And actually with Cam's seed blend, I have actually used all of those professionally and had great results with them. So, again, that is, I would not buy a bag of gray leaf spot susceptible dirtability from that there. Don't get me wrong. Did you pick two green cultivars? Yeah, you did. At the sacrifice of some of the other genetic failures of those cultivars. And again, this is one of those things that it in certain instances, right? I see it a lot in the fertilizer space, right? Anyone can design a fertilizer, anyone can design a seed blend, but there's a lot of secondary effects that you have to take into account when you're putting things together. And so, while it may all look great and feel good on the surface, if you don't pay attention to what the secondary effects of what you're doing is, then sometimes you can get yourself caught between a rock and a hard place and create another issue out of something that could have been avoided if you just opted to invest a little bit more time into what you were doing, or consulted with someone and just said, hey, let me ask you, is this a good or a bad idea? There's again, not everyone's cut out for it. That's just the way it is. And fortunately, you get to tune in to here on Burn and Return, where we get to burn these some bitches to the ground. Thanks for playing, gentlemen. Y'all did a great job of providing us content. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you. Come again. We'll catch you on, I'm sure, an episode in the future. All right, let's check out this week's burns. JP. Private chat is wild right now. Good Lord. Group chats are the best, aren't they? Scientific American has really devolved into one of the shittiest publications in the world right now. And I don't know how else to put it. I continually read things from Scientific American, and I'm just like, I cannot believe they opted to put this into print. It is an absolute fucking scumbag of a rag to read now. And I remember when I was young, Scientific American was like, I mean, it was
reputable.
It
was totally.
Yeah, I mean, you
totally
couldn't
reputable.
wait to read it and be like, God, that's going on in the world. That's amazing. But now it's just a crock of
I know what happened.
shit.
I know what happened to it. I know exactly what happened to it.
It became an
Is
activist journal or a,
Yeah,
curator of opinions.
yeah, it became a political editorial
Yeah.
rather than a scientific journal. And this is literally what I say has happened to media because do you know what slogan just chaps my ass, Matt? That slogan, "We report, you decide." Bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. That slogan should be rephrased to, "We are deciding for you."
Yeah, I think there is a lot of that, and it starts with the headline here. The headline is just this is gross misconduct of journalism if there ever has been one. Forever pesticides threaten environmental harms worse than DDT. Forever pesticides. Gentlemen, what we have learned now is that we have a new class of pesticides called forever pesticides, okay?
Mhm.
It's right here in the headline, so we know it's true. A looming and poorly regulated PFAS threat comes from these chemicals' common use in pesticides on farms nationwide. So, PFAS is coming from the chemicals used in pesticides. Okay. Do you hear that?
Uh,
When the US EPA ended most uses of the notorious pesticide DDT back in 1972, it wasn't just because the poisons then suspected links to cancer and serious reproductive effects in humans. Evidence also suggests the chemical will bioaccumulate in living things that persist in the environment for centuries, threatening the health of our children, our children's children, and beyond. A disturbing reality confirmed by recent research. Now, 50 years later, a growing body of research reveals the EPA is failing to fully address a similar and potentially even greater multi-generational chemical threat, a skyrocketing presence of perfluoroalkyl substances, aptly dubbed forever chemicals, in millions of gallons of pesticide products that are used widely across the U.S. Okay, so here it's just kind of open-ended, right? We are detecting forever chemicals in pesticides products. If we read the headline, we are using forever pesticides. The pesticides themselves are a result of using pesticides is PFAS is the way the whole thing is phrased. And then we'll kind of work our way through this. They're hard to break the bonds. They've been linked to certain cancers, delays in childhood development, immune system dysfunction in humans. Drinking water regulations are now underway, and the permissible levels are in the parts per trillion range. When PFAS are present in pesticide products, many of which are sprayed on food crops and run off into nearby waterways, people can be exposed to by eating contaminated food and drinking contaminated water. In a newly published study, we and our colleagues from several environmental watchdog groups identified troubling gaps in the EPA pesticide approval process that have resulted in the agency failing to fully assess the harms from the growing number of these forever chemicals added to many pesticides.
What? Matt,
The
what
implications of
added?
that glaring lapse could not be more dire. The gaps in pesticide safety oversight, including waiving immunotoxicity studies for pesticide active ingredients, not fully accounting for the partial transformation of pesticides into different chemicals over time, and failing to assess the cumulative toxicity of PFAS pesticide use. PFAS pesticide use. Okay. Our study found 14% of all conventional active ingredients in pesticides are PFAS.
What?
14% of all conventional active ingredients in pesticides are PFAS. Worse yet, the long-lived chemicals comprise 30% of pesticide active ingredients approved in just the past 10 years, meaning pesticide contamination with PFAS is trending upward and will likely increase in the coming years. Now, after they say all that absolute insanity, and then you have a break in the page where no one is going to read any further, and you can't tell me this is not done by design, although PFAS are known to leach from plastic storage containers into pesticides, contamination is more often the result of pesticide ingredients that are forever chemicals in their own right. Pesticide
What?
ingredients and their degradates, what they turn into after partially breaking down, can stick around for decades or centuries and are incredibly more potent. Okay, let's get this out of the way. A perfluoroalkyl substance, right? And I think one of the I'll use it in polymer science because the overwhelming majority of PFAS are a result of a coupling agent, right? And so you can use a fluorinated coupling agent. And the reason why you want that fluoride bond in the coupling agent is that when you're creating a plastic, that fluoride bond is a very hard, durable, flexible plastic, right? So it can withstand holding things with chemical degradation ability to resist chemical degradation. It gives you longevity. It gives you rigidity in storage situations. Okay, that is where this is coming from. If we were using a fluorinated coupling agents in pesticides, what would end up happening is that we would form bricks in our pesticide bottles.
Product. Yeah.
If we use a silane coupling agent that is a fluorinated coupling agent in these active ingredients, they would form a plastic, a brick. Period. End of story. Because you have a solvent that is typically a carrier of sort. You have an active ingredient, and the solvent is going to react with a fluorinated coupling agent every fucking time. That's exactly how plastics are formed. Exactly how they're formed. Anybody that's worked in polymer science has seen this. You've done it. You've done it in the lab. You've done it with fluorinated. You've done it with chlorinated. You've all these different things. You've done it with free fatty acids. Has anyone ever used sterile chloride in the polymer science space? Chloride, right? And then, you can use like a polyvinyl alcohol and a sterile chloride to form, a polyvinyl chloride PVC. You ever heard of this? So this idea that we're using these active ingredients in pesticides, intentionally putting PFAS into the pesticide as an active ingredient and not labeling it, is a flat out fucking lie, purely from just a chemistry perspective. It doesn't work that way. Now, is there potential that if you're using really, really, really outlandish and bizarre surfactants with hydroxyl groups, and you have fluorine that gets freed up from the plastic container, and then it reacts with that functional group on the end of your surfactant chain, that you get the formation of a new polyfluorinated substance at the degradation of the previous fluorinated alkyl substance that came from the container? Yes, but it came from the container. It didn't come because we're adding a polyfluorinated alkyl substance to the pesticide as a functional part of the pesticide, as an active ingredient, or even a non-active ingredient additive as an adjuvant of sorts. Guys, you're more likely to find a nonylphenol, which is incredibly toxic, in a pesticide than you will a perfluorinated alkyl substance as an adjuvant. But now there's alternatives to nonylphenols, and pretty much those have all, people aren't using nonylphenols anymore in pesticide formulations because there's alternatives that work equally as well as a surfactant or emulsifier, right? So
yeah, they're better.
Anyway, as purely from a polymer science perspective, this is complete and utter bullshit. Just top down, left and right. And the fact that Scientific American let this go to print is fucking shocking to me. It is fucking shocking.
Matt, it's not shocking to me.
It will never not be shocking to me. It'll never not be shocking to me.
Okay, the reason why this doesn't shock me anymore is because, unfortunately, as you said earlier, Scientific American has deviated from their place as a scientific journal to, they've gone to becoming no more than a political forum. That is what they've devolved to. And this you're
exactly right. You're 100% right. And I want to try and steer this away from politics because it's obvious that that's exactly what's happening here. How do I phrase this in such a way that it doesn't sound so, I don't know, inflaming? There is a serious underlying growing issue in scientific publications of the presence of activism. We see it in published studies regarding regenerative agriculture, and specific to regenerative agriculture, and specific to regenerative agriculture, that when you're using regenerative practices and you're removing crop residues from one place and moving it to another, especially without the presence of animals, you're utilizing 3 acres of biomass to inflate the organic matter contents of 1 acre. So you're robbing from 3 acres to inflate 1 acre, right? Under the guise that it's regenerative, that you're sacrificing 3 acres of organic matter so 1 can be chooched to the gills, right? And that is super common in regenerative agriculture because it feels good, right? And it gets people excited, and they want to steer to it, and they want to bypass the reality of the situation. But again, this idea that food is poisoning us, the way we cultivate food is poisoning us. It's not food choices. It's how we actually grow our food is killing us, that we're passing off individual responsibility off to the collective being, in this particular instance, agriculture, big ag, as we'll call it, right? And so we are the ones that are victims of it, and it's out of our control, and no one will protect us, and we can't protect ourselves, and we're fucked, right? I mean, it's just simply how it goes. Now, in this particular instance, we have Scientific American, of all things, which now is, in my opinion, completely unreadable at this point, because we're experiencing the same thing. Okay, PFAS contamination, whether it be in pesticides, in wastewater treatment facilities, in groundwater, in spray foams, in water repellent fabrics, this is a big fucking issue. We've been talking about it for a long time, and I don't want to downplay that this isn't a big issue. And the fact that it is leaching from containers into pesticides is a big issue. Because it's already a big issue, why the fuck do you have to fucking lie about the point source solution, the point source pollution issue in and of itself? To go so far to the fucking extreme in your lie that you have to say, no. It's not just leaching from the containers. We're actually adding it to it and hiding it off of active ingredient lists. And the EPA is purposefully neglecting to look at it. When they test these active ingredients, they are not testing the adjuvant, in this particular instance, PFAS, which is the claim of Scientific American that's being added to it. The EPA is overlooking it. That is horseshit. Chances are, when the active ingredients are shipped to the EPA, they're sent in 1 gram ultra pure samples in a glass vial to maintain ultra purity, so they can get the most accurate data imaginable, because that's normally how science is conducted. You don't send them a 2.5 gallon of chlorothalonil off the shelf and test it as it is. No, you're sending them the chlorothalonil molecule, because that's actually what you're looking for from the response perspective. It's the same thing, like if you have an adjuvant in it, there's been another EPA approval process for whatever the case may be. We'll say it's a sodium lauryl sulfate. You're going to test pure sodium lauryl sulfate. So I don't think, maybe I'm crazy, I don't think there's an easy righting the ship from this point, other than the good fight being exposing it for what it is. And in this particular instance, the only thing that needs to be exposed is that this is no longer a credible publication. And if it's used in an effort to discredit anything, it should all be taken with a complete grain of salt. I don't doubt that there's something that is published in Scientific American that's valid and good. However, it calls into question the validity of all their work, which is so unfortunate, because this is like the second or third time I've looked at a Scientific American article that is complete and utter bullshit. DeMay, you are the most level-headed of all of us. Are they coming for us? Are they going to get us in our sleep? That's a joke. If anybody's listening, that is a joke. I don't mean that seriously. That's hyperbolic. I'm just phrasing the question.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to take the the time, caution, or have the empathy to pull the handle leads out slowly. How about that?
Oh no.
It's gonna be like you hit the rumble strip there on I-40.
Yo.
Yeah.
I'm awake. I'm awake. I was not asleep. I'm awake. I'm awake.
And now that I'm
Fucking
pink
the-
socked,
The
yes,
Jake break.
I will talk. That's the pink sock, not the Jake break. I I think what they're doing is pretty evident. I agree with you that there's not a lot of understanding or seeking to understand, the issues. The issues are with more with the containers than they are with the pesticides. I think that anything in any system where we're harnessing nature is a calculated set of risks that has to produce a result or some continuing result. In this case, it's producing food for people to eat. And oh, by the way, there's a lot of people to feed. So um I, question is who reads these, who consumes them, and what do they come for. And I'll just leave this issue like this, is that if they are coming for us, and it's not us just turf, right, but in general, it is going to be after the containers first. There's already states right now where they're trying to outlaw the use of containers with PFAS, which would then ergo make the pesticides in them illegal to use because you can't get them, right? And so that is the route that is being explored, at least in 2 states that I can think of, and that'll be the thing to keep your eyes peeled for.
And that
Okay.
I can at least logically make sense of that, right? Is that, look, we have to find alternative containers like we used to use, whether that be aluminum or
Matt,
steel. I can
I got
logically follow the reasoning there.
I got another one for you. This just popped into my head with all this talk about PFAS in the plastic containers. How's this for irony? I remember in my grandfather's tractor shed, imagine this one, guys. Chloridane 8E in a glass bottle. What's the irony of that? A forever chemical, a true forever chemical, mind you, but in a container that stands no chance of transferring another forever chemical into the forever chemical. Go figure that one out.
Shocking.
Yeah, I mean, and it's rather interesting because I think I come from that transition period where, a lot of highly active substances, they used to be marketed and transported in either glass or metal. Okay? Like earlier in the show, I was talking about how I'm old enough to remember when Roundup came in a steel drum. Okay? And so when you
See,
say
all
we
of
have
that, all
to,
of that makes sense, right? Like I can wrap my mind around, okay, the use of HDPE is by the wayside, and we're gonna have to go to another alternative. Just end of
we're
story.
gonna have to
Period.
we're gonna have to go to somewhere else.
Fine with that. In
Okay, and
whether it be
I got a
glass or aluminum or steel, and it causes a cost increase just due to packaging issues in and of itself.
I
I
got
can
another one
wrap
for
my
you.
mind around that. It just doesn't
Okay,
shock me. I can logically follow that.
and I got yet another little thought too, is that the guys always ask me, how come everything comes in such a massive container, yet in the rest of the world, a lot of your pesticides, the smallest package for that pesticide is like a 100 milliliter aluminum can with a screw cap. Okay, that's how they package stuff, and that kind of packaging is especially pertinent to the highly hazardous legacy insecticides and miticides, for example, because Matt, would you want to mess around with something in a 2.5 gallon jug, and the LD50 on that is 50 milligrams per kilogram? Would you want to play with that? No, where
No.
in in the other parts of the world, they pack that thing up in like a 100 milliliter vial, and that's the amount for 1 hectare. That's it. You open the can, put it in the sprayer, you're done.
I mean, I get it that it cuts down on packaging cost, right? And but again, if and I just want to reiterate that what is going to end up happening out of this is that people will see this article, right, about PFAS being put into pesticides. This is what breeds the people that go the other way and say PFAS is a scam. It's not a problem. When you lie about it like this in such an extreme way, you're going to get people that lie about it the alternative extreme way. Extremism breeds extremism. I firmly believe that, and I think this is a perfect catalyst for that example, right? It's the same thing with insert just like saying that eating GMOs is going to turn you into whatever insert issue that's corollary, and it's going to turn you into a Tom Cruise action movie or whatever. It's going to continue to breed these hyper extreme fringe kind of takes on it, and what ends up happening is that as either side gets so loud about it, even though it's a small percentage of people comparatively, it gets so loud when it does make it time for legislative options, it's band-aid options, complete and total band-aid options. And for something like PFAS that is now understood what it's understood, or at least the scale at which it's understood, I think there's still a lot of unknowns at exactly where that parts per million long-term exposure looks like, or parts per billion. Even the recommendations right now are parts per billion. What does the high-end exposure level look like over a period of time, like when present in water, or the transfer opportunity from a pesticide container to a pesticide to a crop to making it, through a crush facility and then into oil, for example, that we consume. What does that look like through that process? Still, a lot of this we don't know yet. The science isn't there, hadn't caught up. Those long-term studies haven't been done, and so there's a lot of unknown about it. But what we do know is that PFAS, in and of itself, poses a big fucking problem. That's showing up in places it shouldn't show up in very high concentrations, or at least way higher than thresholds that have been previously be set, and that should alarm everybody. And there should be some sort of major fucking action plan right now to take a look at it. And I think as people, what are the easy things that we can do, to do that is to learn about what PFAS, learn about what its common uses are, and try to avoid those things. And see how it shapes your life. You may say it's not worth it, and if it shaves 10 years off my life, so fucking be it. It's just overcoming the exposure to it is whatever else. I don't know. Maybe there are some dietary or exercise things that you can do differently. Maybe there's a supplement thing you can do differently. I don't know what the answers are, but that's up to you to find out, right? And so again, I just don't want to make it sound like it's light. Like, no, this is serious. This is very big, and this is going to be dominating our headlines for a long, long, long fucking period of time, because the scale is so massive, and it is global, 100%. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. That man, fuck Scientific American, just absolutely fuck the shit out of them, sideways and behind. Last one we're going to do here, and this is illegal pesticide sales at Hawaii Daiso stores prompt record fine. This one was for you specifically, Ray, because, well, here we go.
I know
A
something.
retailer was-
I know something about it, Matt.
All right, let's let everybody in on what happened here. So in Hilo, Pearl City, Picoy, and downtown Honolulu has agreed to pay $314,747 for selling 23 types of unregistered pesticides following a joint federal state investigation.
I'll tell you what this is.
The resulting fine, the EPA said, is one of the largest ever. Unregistered pesticides can cause harms. Besides the 23 different types, they also sold premium adhesive cockroach catchers made in Japan, fly catchers, both of which were mislabeled. The total amount sold has not been established, and the agency isn't aware of anyone suffering physical harms yet. However, they're going to come down on us, and they're saying that we will continue to keep an eye on this to make sure illegal products stay out of our store. All right, what were they selling, Ray?
Okay. 2021 and 2022, that was the COVID pandemic. And what happened is these stores imported all kinds of disinfectant germicidal products directly from Japan. And guys, fun fact, did you know that products labeled as antibacterial, germicidals, or disinfectants for use in both home and institutions all have to be registered with the EPA as a pesticide?
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened is this particular retail chain, their main business is importing household goods from Japan for sale into Hawaii. That's their main business. So during the pandemic, they imported all kinds of germicide and disinfectant products from Japan to presumably be used against COVID.
Mm.
I mean, this was something that went on my bingo card rather early in the pandemic. That all manner of products were showing up claiming to be effective against the COVID virus. And here's the thing about doing that is that a lot of these disinfectant type products, the unfortunate thing about disinfectants is that they are often non-selective and they can be actually extremely toxic. Because one of the first disinfectants used in history was either phenol or mercuric chloride. I am not kidding about that. That was one of the first chemical disinfectants employed, for use against disease-causing bacteria and in places of human habitation. So this is why when people talk about, chemicals, pesticides, oh my goodness, we're all going to die. You know what? All I got to do is just go underneath their kitchen sink and say, hey, I see you got a bottle of bleach under there, or what about that can of Lysol? Guess what? That's an EPA registered pesticide.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
and
Right?
for people that don't know, there's a
Mhm.
very large a very large Japanese population in Hawaii, and it's one of those things. All right, so I don't know if you've ever been into a foreign marketed grocery store before that is like primarily imports, right? Or you go to an Indian grocery store or a Mexican grocery store, or this particular instance, this would be like a Japanese home goods store, right? There's certain things that are like creature comforts that you go for, and chances are in this particular instance, everyone's panicked. They're in pandemic time, and what do? They go there, they look for their creature comfort disinfectant that I know I can trust this because it came from my land that I know and I trust. I know the people that make it. My family worked there for 33 years, and that's what I'm going to spray. I get it, but you can't do that. And they got dinged for it in a very, very big way. All right, we're going to get out of here because we have a badass thunderstorm rolling through. My power just blinked twice, and so I'm scared I'm going to run out of power. And I know J Pink is just down the road from me. So he's going through the exact same thing. I just looked on the radar, and he has a big ass cell hovering over his place right now. Okay. Again, big shout out to Randy, sir. Congratulations. Thank you for being a part of our community, and thank you for all your hard work. That is all you that put the time and the effort and the energy to learn everything that you learn. And man, you're an exemplary human being. You're an exemplary student, and you're a good fucking friend. And I'm just incredibly proud of you and thankful that that you are in our community. If you would like to join our community, patreon.com/Burnham Return is cheap. You call it's cheaper than an airport beer, and you get to come hang out and do with us some of the things that we do. Also, in that same vein, we're going to go hang out with them now and let them choose the title of this week's episode. Y'all have a great one. We'll see everybody starting Wednesday in Louisville, fucking Kentucky. If you want to be there with us, again, you got to be be a patron member, and then you can
Get
do
fucked.
next year. Patreon.com/burner return. You ain't making it this year, motherfucker, because we're sold out, we're rocked out, we're glocked out, and it's gonna be a good time. See all that butt.
Glyphosate.
Jesus. It fucking hurts. It hurts.
It burns.
I think that's what
Glyphosate.
the feeling that women get when you use the word cunt or moist. God. I don't like it.
So we are not inspiring people. Just don't whiff the radon.
Don't whip it.
How glyphosate causes collective stupidity. Apparently there's a song by Eric Sands. My seed is more pure than your pure seed. Not your typical
There's
LSD.
some layers to that.
Gray is the new black. Scrawny white guys
I
make
did
me
get that
black
right.
out. Now starring in Blacks on Lawns, Ellie Coleman.
Jesus Christ.
PFAS is a pesticide condom. Oh, sorry, that's a question mark. Lawn life.
Is that condom?
Yeah, lawn life. More shitty seed than Friday at the sperm bank.
Ew.
Friday is the busiest day at the sperm bank. You guys know this, right? People trying to get money for the weekend.
Oh
Makes sense.
my
Oh
God.
no. Oh.
Yeah. Statistically,
Politically correct chemistry is usually incorrect.
I like that.
Pretty
Ah.
good. They are coming for us. I see more death under your sink than in your lawn.
Yes, Brent. Yes, Brent. Absolutely.
that's pretty good.
Rumble strips
That's
and
a good-
PFAS dips. We got the more death is kind of cranking up in the votes there. But the my seed is more pure than your pure seed. Currently, is the champion.
So yeah, it looks like J Farm wins, and then we'll say my seed is more pure than your seed. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. There's some there's definitely some sperm connotations there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that would have been a good mRNA vaccine joke too. My seed is more pure than your seed.
Oh boy.
I think we would have been kicked off the air for that. I think that's still
Canceled.
kind of a hot topic. That's,
Canceled immediately.
especially with everything else we talked about. I mean, it was just it's a fucking disaster in the waiting.
Right.
All right, everyone. We'll see y'all on fucking Wednesday. I can't wait because I'm about to put in the most grueling 48 hours of this year, and I am gonna let it all fucking out when we get to Louisville. So put your big boy pants on because I'm coming with the fucking thunder, and I can't wait. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Love y'all.
Bye. We'll see y'all. Bye.